We have now so many new drugs in hand for metastatic melanoma. I think we now have to learn how to use these drugs best. We have already difficulties to decide in patients who have a BRAF mutation, which are around 40% of our patient population, which drug combination we should use first, BRAF-MEK inhibition or a checkpoint blockade. So we have no comparative data, that's number one. And also what to start with. Should we start with a targeted therapy and then follow with checkpoint blockade, or the other way around? There are arguments for both sides. And so there are clinical trials trying to address this question. Then we have patient groups with high risk to progress. These are patients with brain metastasis, for example, or patients who have poor biological markers like elevated LDH, where we know that this disease is more difficult to treat. We have clinical trials trying to address these subgroups. And what I think is one of the most interesting parts is now using all these different groups in a systematic way, combining these. And there are early trials and even phase 3 studies already, combining, for example, checkpoint inhibitors. Ipilimumab and Nivolumab is one of these examples, and we are expecting over the summer first survival data of this phase 3 study. And the phase 2 data of the combination of Nivo and Ipi is suggesting that we have 2-year survival rates well above 60%, which would be a new landmark to beat. And also we are having seen a phase 3 study combining pembrolizumab and epacatostat, which is an IDO inhibitor, as another way of combining antibodies targeting the checkpoint. And this study, pembro and epacatostat, has fully recruited over the last weeks, so we have to wait a bit now, since patients are living longer also in the metastatic field, which is good news, to see what we can expect. And also, what we are seeing currently is a new wave of clinical trials coming, even in a phase 3 setting, combining targeted therapy and checkpoint blockade. And there are several companies trying to push that in metastatic melanoma. And we have seen, for example, phase 2 data combining, for example, PD-1 ligand antibody Atezolizumab and a MEK inhibitor in BRAF wild type patients. Both MEK inhibitor and the checkpoint blocker have by its own, as a monotherapy, a PFS ranging around 4 to 5 months. But the combination certainly has a PFS of more than a year. So there's definitely additive effects, possibly even more, and this is also going to be explored in a phase 3 study in 2017. So it's exciting with all these new drugs, and I think for patients it's important to be treated still in clinical trials, because that's the most innovative way of getting access to innovation.